Death and destruction.
It's incredible. It is huge. Unbelievable.
Massive tornadoes tear through the U.S. Midwest. Is it possible to predict where? Last night, tornadoes killed at least 45 people and decimated entire neighborhoods in Oklahoma and Kansas. There were too many twisters to count them all, but experts believe the largest one was more than 1.5 kilometers wide, with winds reaching up to 418 kilometers an hour. Forecasters gave this tornado an F4 rating, the second strongest classification there is. For people living in Tornado Alley, the twister-prone area of the U.S., this storm was especially deadly, and they're bracing themselves for more because tornado season has just begun.
Joining me now with more is Kevin Kelleher. He's a meteorologist in the National Severe Storms Laboratory in Norman, Oklahoma. Hello, Mr. Kelleher.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? What's your personal reaction to this? Have you ever seen a severe storm as this before?
Personally, I've never seen as severe an outbreak or been involved in as severe an outbreak as we have seen the last couple of days, or yesterday, and then continuing through today. We had quite a number of tornadoes forming at different times, long-lived tornadoes. We had tornadoes forming in an atmosphere that didn't allow us to really see the storms themselves. They were clouded in poor visibility, which is a testament to the amount of moisture we had in the atmosphere, and really caused some problems in the area. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever been taking my family to a shelter in the 20 years that I've been in Oklahoma.
Wow. How does it compare? I mean, if you had to describe this tornado, this series of tornadoes compared with others that you've experienced in the past, could you do that?
Well, I've been around severe storms like this where there was usually isolated one or two storms where they were F4, F5, very large tornadoes, long-lived. But this one was unusual in the sense that there were many. As a matter of fact, we have reports of up to 76 total tornadoes in one day. In central Oklahoma, I don't really know how many there were, but there were continuous tornadoes on the ground. These thunderstorms were producing the tornadoes. They were going back in the cloud, producing them again, and it made it very chaotic and difficult for the forecasters to warn the public, but they did a tremendous job.
So 76 tornadoes in one day, that's compared with, I mean, what's normal in a severe storm?
In an outbreak like this, well, to give you a feel, this ranks in the top 10 of all, preliminarily our indications are it ranks in the top 10 of all outbreaks like this in the U.S. history.
And what's going on in a tornado, in any one of these 76 tornadoes? What are the factors at work to create a situation like that?
Well, a tornado is a spinning vortex of very high-speed wind around a very tight center that spins up in association with severe thunderstorms, isolated thunderstorms usually. What causes the tornadoes and why we're here in Tornado Alley is we have the right ingredients. We have the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, which we call the fuel for the storm. We have the cool, cold air, differential air masses from Canada that come down unimpeded by any mountain range. So geographically, we're located in a spot where we have a north-south facing mountain range in the Rocky Mountains that allows the air simply to move back and forth, create contrast in air mass that cause violent rising elements of storms of the air, which cause the thunderstorms, which lead to the tornado formation. Tornado Alley is typically defined around the south-central United States, southwestern United States, from Texas through Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, Nebraska, up into Illinois and Iowa, over to Missouri. It's the central part of the United States where the ingredients are ripe for this kind of tornado outbreak or tornado formation.
So if Tornado Alley, where, as you say, your laboratory is situated, is in the center of all these factors that these happen somewhat frequently, why was this one so much more severe? I mean, what happened to make this one of the, top 10 or worst 10 of all time?
Well, this is probably going to go down as a classic tornado outbreak in the sense that every once in a while, all the ingredients, the moisture, the wind fields, we need winds at the surface that change in direction with height as you go up in the atmosphere. That causes a spinning motion within the storm, which leads to the tornadoes. We had the cool air above the surface, the strong jet stream above that. All of these ingredients came together in just about a perfect situation for this outbreak. And it was forecast well in advance, and the warnings went out well in advance. So we really, the Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center put out the warnings based on what they were seeing ahead of time and hit the forecast right on the nose.
So does a storm like this give you any sense, or give forecasters especially, any sense of what kind of tornado season you may be in store for in Tornado Alley?
Usually, unlike maybe hurricanes or other types of events, it's hard to correlate one tornado or tornado outbreak from, to the next one and make any kind of judgment there. So I would say, unfortunately, we don't have the benefit of that type of knowledge. Maybe someday we will, but at the moment we're still interested in the best job we can do 3 to 5 to 10 days out, and I mean the National Weather Service.
All right, well, thank you very much for explaining this to us, Mr. Kelleher.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Kevin Kelleher. He's a meteorologist from the National Severe Storms Laboratory. He joined us from Norman, Oklahoma.